Hey guys, AB Cine here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the Portkeys LEYE viewfinder. Why I think it's a necessary part of any cine body kit, and why I think that for the price and what you get out of it, it's something you have to have.
Take it from her and she's already chewed half of it, so I tossed it that way.
Really? So I there's some cake and extra boys that needs to eat. Oh my God. So they were all said, no, that's it.
Part of this?
Okay, so the Portkeys LEYE viewfinder is a budget option compared to everything else that's out there. Most viewfinders cost 3 times as much as this. I think this goes right now for $400. The closest one you can find is like $1,200. As far as I can tell, it does everything that its big brethren will do. It has focus peaking, it has wavelengths, it has histograms, it has false colors, it has all the things that you're looking for in a viewfinder anyway. It doesn't have some of the same outs as maybe high-end cameras would require. I guess, I don't know. This has an HDMI out, full size, which connects to the back of my M4, and it works for what I need it to. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the good and the bad of this viewfinder. So good thing is it is on par with the GH5 in terms of optical quality. It looks like it's about as sharp and the resolution is about as good as what you see in a GH5 body looking through the viewfinder, which is great. Like GH5 has a great viewfinder. I don't need more than that. It is hands down better than the A7 III, which is a junk viewfinder. Something I find myself doing accidentally is forgetting the viewfinder is on, and so the easiest way to take care of that is it does have a power on and off switch, but I just unplug it because it will get warm. If sun is directly shining into the element that goes around this padded eye cup, there's a possibility that it'll wash out your screen. But again, that was something I had to get used to. So when I'm not using it, I just unplug it. It's the easiest way for me to know it's not on. That way I'm also keeping the eye cup closed off. I'm not going to go too much into the menu system of the Portkeys LEYE. I don't really use it for that. I use it as a direct output of the image that's going into my camera. So the way I like to shoot with my Z-Cam is there's a setting to apply a LUT in camera that doesn't apply to your footage, but that way you can see what you're shooting through whatever monitor or viewfinder you're using. And so I'll just use a Rec 709 LUT onto my log footage, and I still use waveforms and histograms and everything else, false colors, through my secondary monitor, which is going to be my phone. So I'm getting a double layout read of everything. But one of my favorite things about mirrorless camera systems, the hybrid that I use them for, video specific, is if it looks good, it is good. And that has now translated into this as well. I don't have to worry as much about, am I overexposing by 2 stops to make sure my log footage is going to look good. While I still have false colors to reference, I can just look into this monitor, and I've worked with it enough that I know there's a sweet spot, and I feel completely confident that I'm going to be nailing exposure, no problem. The cord that this hooks up to is the Condor Blue HDMI. I looked around for braided cords that could kind of do what I needed it to, and Condor Blue saved me again. It was like 20 bucks for a 4K HDMI cord. It looks great, connects onto the camera, stretches enough for me to use the viewfinder both on top when I'm going handheld and on the side for the shoulder mount. Okay, so this is the actual shoulder rig setup I used on a commercial shoot. I got contracted to do some slow motion archery shots, and I knew I needed something with extended reach, and I wanted to be able to function so that I wouldn't have to constantly be making adjustments. So this is what I ended up going with. And what this system here allows me to do is I can put my eye right up to the viewfinder. Right here I have my Nano Nucleus N for perfect focusing, adapted to the Tamron 70 to 200, which effectively gives you a 400 millimeter reach for a lens. So I was able to get some pretty cool slow motion shots. The venue was a little bit darker than I would have liked, but what I was able to pull out of it was functional for the purpose of my client. Something I do want to mention is how the phone used as a monitor through the Zcam app is still your best option for budget monitor setup in order to do all the work that you need to do. So this is actually just a Zhiyun phone mount that I got from one of my Zhiyun crane gimbals. And what this allows you to do is, as you're shooting, you have all of your stability still located onto this side of the camera. So what the app allows you to do is it allows you to start and stop record, change all of the settings on the fly, ISO, shutter, aperture, all that good stuff, as well as provide a secondary display. So what I would do for the shoot was I could make sure that the viewfinder was focusing exactly on everything I needed, but then out of my other eye, I could keep an eye on the bigger picture of things. Most of the time when I shoot anyway, I kind of keep one eye open when I'm not looking through a viewfinder, just to adapt to whatever next I need to shoot. As a primarily an event videographer, I have to constantly be moving with my subjects and getting space so that it doesn't look cramped when you don't have enough nose room, headroom, etc. So what this did was it allowed me to shoot continuously. I shot straight for 3 hours. I had to do one battery swap, and my phone lasted exactly that long. So if you're to do a longer shoot, you'll definitely need to find a power source to continue to power your phone if you're using it as a monitor. Let's talk a little bit about the media options that you can go with Zcam here. So this is a Cinema Pro CFast 2.0 card. And these little guys are great for run and gun shooting, on the move, easy to grab setup. If you're running really slim down rig, then this is the best option for you. You don't have anything else that you need to attach. I will say though, I noticed when shooting in high codec, high frame rate options like ProRes 120 4K, H.265, 240 frames per second, this gets pretty hot. And I don't know exactly how the heatsink works with the Zcams, but I can tell you that I felt a little uncomfortable when I was doing some trial runs with this card. So I brought it as a backup, but not to use as my primary media. What I actually did is I hooked up, this is a case for an external SSD, which goes into the back of the Zcam. And this just again hooks on by, this is another phone clamp that I just threw on top of my side handle. I know I made a big deal in my last video about side handles aren't necessary for cine body setups, but hey, live and learn. Turns out I was wrong. And what this does is you can grab it on the side here. It does add that extra point of stability. That way you can feel pretty secure in how you're going to be mounting it onto your shoulder. And then the rest of the setup, I can go like this. And I just feel better when I'm taking it off to have all the weight on two different points instead of just one, and where the balance can feel uneven while you're taking it off. Plus, I mean, let's be honest here. Half of putting together a cine body rig is to make damn sure it looks good. And having these wood accents, both with the Leye viewfinder, the Nanonucleus N, and my wood handle, makes this thing look, it feels good, it looks good, it makes me really happy to shoot with. And that's ultimately what you want in any camera. You want to be excited about shooting with it. And that is where I'm at with this. Like, being able to build a system from such a budget option like the M4. It's a $1,500 cinema camera, which is still just like mind-blowing to me that we're at this point in the industry. But everything that I do with building out this kit is going to be transferable to the next big body system I get with Z-Cam. And that's just, it's so gratifying to know that all of the work, all of the money I'm putting in to make this system functional is going to translate into 6K, 8K, full frame versions down the line. I knew I was going to be into the next evolution after working with mirrorless cameras, which were going to be cine body setups. I didn't know I was going to fall into it as hard as I did. A big part of that is because I was lucky enough to shoot independent feature film earlier this year in September during the pandemic. It was 8 days of chaos. It was just constant day, night shooting, bunch of different locations, but the end result is we shot a feature film in 8 days, an indie feature in 8 days, multiple locations, multiple actors, really big ideas for how small of a budget we were working with. We actually have a Kickstarter going right now that's headed by the director and producer. You can check out the link below. If you want to support this channel, support me, I very much encourage you to check it out. A couple dollars goes a long way. So, any questions or anything else you might have about this shoulder rig system, any specific parts of it, just message me in the comments below. Since I don't have affiliate links, I'm just not going to take the time of listing all of my equipment on here. But if you got questions specific to it, I will absolutely help you out. I appreciate all the questions from my last vid, even a couple DMs. So this has been a real quick first look at the Leye viewfinder. Do I think you should get it? Yes, absolutely. I feel more confident as a filmmaker not having to worry about glares on my monitor when I'm outside, being able to move, creating more of a run and gun setup with a cine body in order to have the viewfinder. So that's going to do it for me for today. Check out the Kickstarter, and I'll see you guys next time.